So I want to welcome, happy Wednesday to you. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Listen, today we had a very interesting experience, or I had a very interesting experience. And I want to share it with you because I also want to pull out the lesson in the experience. So we had scheduled today to go live on Facebook and on Instagram. And as you know, we've been doing this on a fairly regular basis. And the idea behind it is to address any questions that you may have, because every day we get questions into our inbox. And if someone happens to not be in one of our programs or doesn't have access to me, this is a great way to get their questions answered. And therefore, we do these 30-minute calls on Wednesday from 12 noon Eastern to 12:30 Eastern. Usually we go longer, and that's perfectly fine. And I address those questions. So today, I was on with a client, one of my private mentoring clients, just before we got on this call, and I wrapped up with her at 5 minutes to 12. And I decided I'm going to get the Facebook open and ready. And so I go to Facebook and it's not working. It doesn't allow me to go live. It doesn't allow me to go live on Chrome, which is one of the browsers I have, and I wasn't able to go live using Safari. So what happens when this kind of thing occurs? Now, I want to relate it to goals, and I want to relate this story back to when people start pursuing their goals. Inevitably, they come up with these things called roadblocks or challenges, or they stumble, right? And not everything goes as you would love or as you would expect. It's just part of the process, right? And when you recognize that challenges are going to happen as you're pursuing your goals, you understand it and you're far more relaxed when the event actually occurs. So when I went to go on live on social media this morning on Facebook as an example, and it wasn't working, I was thinking in my mind, rather than get all flustered and say to Roddy, well, we just can't do this. This is not going to happen. It's not working today. Some people might say maybe it's God's way of saying I shouldn't be doing it. But no, I thought there's another way. So I opened up my Zoom account, and through Zoom, it allows you to go live on Facebook. And the advantage, or one of the advantages of doing that, is if you have a presentation and you want to go live on Facebook, you can use Zoom to actually show, right? I could share my screen, or I could share it. Now, I know that, Facebook now offers this as a service. So the point is, I found another way to get through. I found another way to reach out and connect with you that most people, or some people, may have just said, forget it. It's not working today. We'll do it another day. And so there's always a way. And I want you to know that when you're pursuing your goals, understand that you're going to come up against challenges. Challenges are just part of the experience. And so just respect it. Be aware of what it is. I'm not saying, I shouldn't say expect it. You should expect the best, but understand it can happen. Challenges can happen. And just do your best to go around it, go over it, go under it, like just break through whatever you need to do to get to where you want to go. Just make it happen. You want to be a make it happen kind of person, because when you're a make it happen kind of person, nothing is going to stop you from accomplishing your goals. Okay. All right. So the first question that we have today is from Marlies Mulder, who is saying this: there's only one thing missing in my life, the love of my life. And I met him 2 years ago. We feel connected, but due to some circumstances, he is afraid to make decisions and start all over again, afraid of what it might do to his kids, what people might think, et cetera, et cetera. Honestly, feel that we are this close, but well, So what to do when it comes to business? I can imagine that goal cards and affirmations, et cetera, do work. I am an entrepreneur. I set goals. Thanks to your advice, I even get more focus. But business goals, those are in my control. But what about the matters of the heart? I can wish and affirm that I see him with all my heart as the life partner. But in the end, there are two people who made the tango. So what would you advise regarding this? I'm in love with your question. It is such a beautiful question. And thank you for asking. Now, here's what I would advise. Number one, you've got a great attitude, a really great attitude. You do not have control over another person. There's only one corner of the universe you have control over, and that's yourself. However, if this is what you would love, if this is what you desire, then in your mind and in your heart, feel as if you already are, one. If it's marriage that you would love, see yourself as being married. And what would that mean to you? When you're married, what are you seeing? How are you feeling? What experiences are you having? You want to see the whole picture in the light that you choose to put on it. In other words, you want to see the experience the way you would love for it to be. But keep in mind this, you do want to be detached from the outcome. You're right. You don't have the control over what he thinks. Like your desire is to have that relationship, that loving, committed relationship, that joyful relationship, that relationship that's just an absolute pleasure in your life. And you can have that. Now, at this point, your desire is to have it with him. And that's great. I totally understand what you're talking about. When I met my husband, Denny, I guess it was almost 18 years ago now. I think it'll be 18. Was it 18? Yes, it was 18 years ago this year that I met him. And Denny had been previously married. Now, Denny's also a French Canadian. And I find that this isn't all French Canadians, but I find that a lot of French Canadians don't believe in marriage. It's not that they don't respect marriage or honor marriage. It's like, what does it matter? Like if you're with somebody, you're with somebody. You don't need a piece of paper to show that you're committed. You can be committed without a piece of paper. But in my heart, I love being married and I love the union of marriage. And marriage does mean something different to me. And so even though Denny had a different thought or belief about marriage that I had, I saw us as married. And so we got married. But I didn't only see us as married, I saw us as happily married. I saw my husband happily married, and he's totally into the marriage as well and was totally into the wedding. And so in my mind and in my heart, I created the images and felt the connection to them in advance of the experience actually occurring. But the thing to keep in mind is if it doesn't work out, that's okay. It doesn't mean you throw away your dream or you throw away your goal. It could be somebody else. It could be another scenario. And like when I think about my first husband, so I was married before Denny, and I was married to another wonderful French Canadian by the name of Charles. And when I met Charles, I wanted to be married. Now I was approaching the age of 30. I think I might've met him when I was 30. And what happens for a lot of women, now I'm much older than that now, but what happens for a lot of women, it was certainly happening for me, is there's this thing called the clock's ticking, right? And where do we get that idea from, that the clock is ticking? Usually from our parents or our mothers, like, when are you going to get married? When are you going to get married? Like that kind of thing, or friends or aunts or whatever asking you these questions. So I felt and chose to feel pressure, from that. And so when I met Charles and he was a wonderful guy and I thought, oh, we have so much fun. Like I want to marry him. And so I set that as a goal to be married to him. What I didn't realize is he didn't want to be married. Not that he didn't want to be married to me. He just did not believe in the union of marriage. He was more stronger in that belief than my husband, Denny. Denny was a little more flexible with that. And so when Charles and I actually got married, he was like a rebel in some ways, because we're at the wedding and he was, doing things that grooms don't normally do. And he wasn't into it. And it was kind of like he was fighting all the way. And maybe I should have paid attention to it. And I don't regret any of it. It was a wonderful experience. And I'm grateful that I did marry him, because I have my son, which is my greatest joy in my life. And so, of course, blessings came with it. But ultimately, that relationship didn't work out. And it didn't work out because we weren't on the same page. We didn't have the same goals. We weren't in alignment. So that helped me get clarity around how I want to see the entire picture of a relationship, meaning that in the relationship that I choose to experience, yes, I'm committed. Yes, I'm married. Yes, I'm having fun. And yes, I'm happily married, but so is he. And I created that in my Power Life script. And I wrote about it and I felt it. And I walked around every day feeling that outcome. And then I happened to meet him. And then it was a couple of years later, 2.5 years later, we got married. And so I just saw it as a beautiful unfoldment for both of us, not just me. It was something that was wonderful for him too. So it's kind of like it serves all parties. And I think anytime you're working toward a goal, whether it's a goal in business or whether it's a personal goal, you want to be thinking about, does this positively impact others? It's like when I'm working with my clients who have income goals, as an example, and they set a goal that might be a stretch goal, a goal that they've never earned before, but yet why? What's the reason behind it? Why is it that they want to be earning this kind of money? Quite often, and it's important to understand the why, by the way, because that really connects you to your passion. It's like your fuel. It keeps you going when sometimes you feel like, giving up. And what the money does for someone, or earning the kind of income that they love to earn, is not so that they have stacks of, dollars or these currencies. It's because it provides them with time and money freedom, which we all want. It provides them with an opportunity to contribute to others, to help others. And it not only positively impacts them, but it positively impacts those around them. Like I know in my case, in my scenario, and I know in a number of my clients' case, I think about one of my clients who's earning, wonderful income now, like far more than she ever did. She 12 times her income, like within a year. And those are rare cases, by the way. This is not everybody who's doing this. Everybody can do it, but not everybody does do it. But what's happened for these individuals that I'm thinking of, and for myself, is there's a positive impact on the family too. The kids get to have these amazing trips, or there's no issues with when the children says, oh, there's an event at school, and or I want to learn this particular instrument, and there's no problem. Okay, I can get you a piano. Like it's not an issue, right? So it provides that freedom. So all to say, quite often when you can associate your goals and your reason behind it to being something that definitely positively impacts other people, it creates a greater sense of joy and gratitude in that experience. But thank you. That was a really great question. Now we got lots of them pouring in now. The next one is from Bobby. How can I get your thought on a Power Life Script affirmations that start with I am being? How can you get my thought? Ask me here. This is the place. Like, unless you're in one of my programs and you're a private client, I'm not actually taking any more right now because we're full, but this is the venue. So put it in here, like give it to Roddy, and then he'll ask me to give feedback, and we'll do it while we're right here. Okay, Keith. Hi, Keith. Good to see you here. I have a deep question. If we're living the life we have imagined, it goes from fantasy to theory to fact. If memory can relive past experiences with remembering facts, does a more powerful memory make a more powerful imagination? What is the difference between memory and imagination? And what are the similarities? Finally, how can we use them effectively? Wow. You are a deep thinker, Keith. And I can see how that can serve you, but it can also create confusion, and where there doesn't need to be confusion. Memory is typically remembering something, and we all have memory. Every one of us does. It's a mental faculty. Now, some people have it better developed. Think about Bob Proctor, my friend and mentor. He always amazes me. I did an interview with him recently, which we're having as part of a bonus for Make Your Dreams Come True event. And by the way, I'm doing another one on February 1st and 2nd, and it absolutely will be slightly different than the one that we did earlier, because I never teach the same thing twice, because I don't follow a script and I'm always studying and working. Anyways, here's the point. I'm on the phone with Bob, and I'm doing a Zoom call with him, actually. And he'll be telling a story. He'll be sharing a story of some event that occurred in his life, obviously from memory. And he will have the name of the person, the date, the address, detail after detail. And, quite often I've heard people say to Bob, like, how can I have a memory like yours? And he said, you do already. Yours is just not developed. So it's just a way of developing your memory. It's like a muscle almost that needs to be exercised. But if you have some great memories from the past that can serve you, going to those places in your mind, in your consciousness, to a great memory can invoke a feel-good feeling within you. Because ultimately, we want to be feeling good as much as possible, all of the time. And in order to feel good, sometimes it does involve going to a memory. Like, think about what's happened in the last 2 years in the world. And not for everybody, but for some people, travel has become a thing that they're no longer doing. I used to travel all the time. Every month I was going somewhere, flying somewhere, speaking somewhere. I mean, I was traveling for business all the time. I haven't traveled anywhere in almost 2 years. By choice, just my choice. Could I have traveled? Sure. I mean, there's been restrictions in countries and things like that, for shorter periods of time. But could I have traveled? Yes, but I just chose not to. But in my mind, can I go to that place? Like, even though it's snowing out, is it snowing? Actually, I think it stopped. So we've got a 1.5 feet that landed on the ground here on Monday. And yesterday it was minus 16 degrees outside, so rather cold. Normally in January, we are, meaning my husband and I and our doggies, are somewhere down south. We typically invest a good part of the winter down south. This year, we're not doing it. Last year, we didn't do it. It's a big deal now. Like, we just find a way to enjoy what we're enjoying. But in my mind, I can go to the sandy beach. In my mind, I can be out on the golf course, playing around a golf. It's something that you can do from memory because I've done it before. Now, imagination is another mental faculty. Now, imagination, everyone has, and imagination is a tool or you can use it as a tool to imagine yourself right into the experience of that which you desire. And by practicing, using your imagination and visualizing, because that's what visualization is, it's using your imagination, you can manifest your goals, right? Your every desire, because you're using this mental faculty to reinforce the experience that creates the feelings that cause you to be put in harmony, which means you're attracting only the things that are going to be in harmony with your outcome. Okay. So there we go. Love your question, Keith. All right. Nancy has a question. I was listening to Bob Proctor talk about paying yourself first before you pay your bills. I don't know how that would work when you're stretching every penny, but I'd like to know. Actually, I can't remember ever paying myself at all. All right, great. Bob Proctor has also often said this, that he'll ask someone, what's the most amount of money that you've earned every year? And they'll give him an answer. And he'll say, I don't ask people that because I'm nosy, because I want to, get into something that's personal. He said, I ask them that question because I want to understand, what do they think they are worth? You see, the amount of money that you're earning is going to be related to your self-esteem, to how you feel about yourself. Not always, but quite often. All right. It could be a worthiness issue. It could be a value, what you believe your value is. And you don't have to pay yourself first if you're already financially set. Let's say you're financially set and you don't need any more money, and you're simply, you might be earning money, but you're giving it away, or you're donating it, or you're offering it to your family, or whatever you're doing. That's fine. It doesn't mean it's a one size fits all for everybody. However, I have seen this with clients where they've started a business and they may have even hired people to do certain things, but the last person to get paid is themselves. And sometimes they don't get paid because they paid the other people. When I started my business, and I started it part-time, from my home, and until I got to the point where the revenues were coming in and I felt, I was ready to let go of the corporate job, then I let go of the corporate job. Well, I also hired an assistant, and my assistant was the first person that I was paying. And I ensured that she was paid. I valued her, I appreciated her. But I remember, if there were, especially in the beginning, if there were months that were a little lighter than other months, she would be paid always, like never missed with paying her. But I didn't always pay myself. And that's just the way it is, right? You start a new business, sometimes you're going to have some hills and valleys until you get, it ramped up to a point where it's really good. It's just part of the, part of the experience of being an entrepreneur. And we're going back many, many, many years ago, early days, kind of thing. But I've realized the importance of rewarding yourself and paying yourself. So the reason why you may not have been doing it might not be a personal issue or a self-esteem issue. It may be just for the fact that, there's not yet revenues ramped up. However, as the question was asked, when you're squeezing pennies, I would put a question back to you. Is this the way you would love to be living your life? And you don't have to answer that. There's something for you to think about. Because if it isn't, then I would say set some goals. Like get very clear on how you would love to be living your life. Come to our Make Your Dreams Come True event February 1st and 2nd. And you'll see it right on the front page of my website, peggymccall.com. You'll see it right there. And Roddy will put the link in both Facebook and Instagram so that you can also check out the event. I mean, we intentionally charge peanuts for you to attend this event, and we over deliver on value. It's like $26 to come to this event. So even if you were at the last event, come again, because you're going to get huge amounts of value. We're going to do it a little differently this time. We're going to have some hot seats and things like that. So huge value coming your way. So definitely get into that event. Okay, the next question we have is from, I'm not sure how to say the name, so I apologize in advance. Looks like Medusi Sabanda. Okay, I'm happy to finally meet you, Peggy. I've been following you on YouTube. My challenge is in visualization. I fail to do it. I only see others. Can you help me to how to best visualize? All right, great. One thing is to stop saying you can't do it, all right? Because you are in your own way. The more you say to the universe, I can't do something, the universe says, indeed, you're right. You see, you're stopping yourself from visualizing. Start to declare that I'm grateful that I easily visualize my every desire. Now, that may seem silly, and it's not enough to just utter the words. You got to feel it in your heart. Think about, what does it feel like now that I'm able to visualize, right? And you can definitely visualize for yourself. Now, I would suggest using visualization techniques once you become, so it's not the first thing that you do, once you become clear on what you would love. And you must think from your goal. So you think of your goal. So think of a goal that you would love. And let's say it's an income goal. And this is for everybody that's watching. Think of a goal that you have, an income goal. All right, so you've got that goal in mind. All right, just close your eyes for a moment. You've got that income goal in mind. You're feeling the joy of earning that kind of money. Feels so good. What are you seeing? What are you seeing as a result of that? Are you seeing yourself going and paying cash for something, some luxury item, or for a brand new vehicle, or you love looking at your bank statements because they're so full with abundance, or you see yourself donating to a cause that's deeply important to you, a cause that means a lot to you? What would you be seeing? What would you be experiencing? And get emotionally involved in that. One of the processes that I've been teaching since the 90s is the process of writing out a power life script. It is the single most powerful tool I've ever used to manifest all my goals. I use it every day. It is a detailed description. Now, it starts first by getting clear on what you want, like what your goals are. And then you write out like a description in the present tense, using only positive words of you living that life. I'm so happy and grateful I'm living this amazing life. And then you talk about it, right? Talk about traveling first class. You talk about the many wonderful destinations that you're going to, and you're bringing your family with you, or whatever it is, whatever that happens to be. You know, you're so happy and grateful that you have invested in your dream home, and that you love looking out the window and seeing the mountains. Excuse me, if that's where you want to live. So you practice. You know, when we think about imagination, as I said a moment ago when I was answering another question, imagination is a muscle. It's an emotional muscle, but we get to work on it, right? It's a part of our mental faculties, right? Imagination. So practice it. Practice thinking from your goal, meaning you're thinking as if the goal's already been accomplished. What would you see? What would you be seeing? And that's what you're going to practice with your visualization technique. Okay, start today. Just take something small. We have one of the things that we do in our Skipping Levels program is we actually have a guided meditation where I walk them through like seeing it in their mind's eye. And the reason why we do that is because the closer you can connect on a daily, regular basis to your outcome as if it's already done, the more likely you're going to attract it into your life. Okay, the next question is from Keith again. Keith says, is success 95% mindset? Is it like mind over matter? When the mind is aware and focused and you mastered feeling the attainment of your desires, can this make uncomfortable growth more comfortable? I feel like I'm growing and improving daily, but the discomfort appeared. How do you know if you are still growing and stretching yourself when everything is getting easier and easier? Beautiful question. And in a way, Keith, you've answered the question with the question. So the way that we grow and the way that we manifest is by setting these stretch goals, like a goal that is so exciting and you have no idea how you're going to accomplish it. And by the way, we're going to get more into that at the Make Your Dream Come True event. So come back to it if you've been there before, or join us if you haven't been there. But in this process of stretching yourself and going for these goals, you're going to feel uncomfortable. Why? Because you've never done it before, because you've never accomplished it before. But you'll get to a point through the daily practice of being the person who's already accomplished it, of visualizing the outcome as if it's already done, by really truly connecting to those emotions. It gets to a point where, yes, it becomes easier and easier and easier, because you're going to become one with the outcome, where you'll get to a point where it feels natural. And when it's feeling natural for you, you are in harmony with the goal and you're in full-on attraction mode. Okay. Love your question, Keith. Okay. Next one is from Susan. How do you let go? How do you let go? You just do it. You just let go. You can, what you can do is remind yourself to let go, affirm that you're letting go. But don't give, like, one of the challenges with letting go, and I don't know what you're talking about letting go of, but one of the challenges is if you're staying focused and you're continually giving attention to the thing you want to let go of, what happens? It expands. What you focus on expands. And that's not what you want to do. So just let it go and move past it. Today's a brand new day. This minute is a brand new minute. What you have is choice. You always have choice. Nobody's in control of this. No one's in control of your mind. No one is in control of your feelings. Nobody, unless you let them, unless you allow them. And what happens with some people is they may get upset at somebody and they get all uptight about it and all upset about it. And they keep reliving the experience in their consciousness. So what is that doing? It keeps recreating the feelings in their heart or in their stomach. They keep recreating the same things because they're upset about it, because they're giving attention. Just let it go. Learn from it. It's an experience. It's gone. It's in the past. There's nothing you can do about what's happened in the past. It's like rip off that rearview mirror. And what I choose to do in experiences or something that's happened in the past that doesn't serve me is I'll just let it go, realize I've got a new opportunity right now in this very moment. It's a brand new day, brand new minute, brand new opportunity. Or if it's something that maybe was significant, I'll just say, what's the blessing? Where's the blessing in this experience? Now, in the beginning, when you ask yourself that question, what's the blessing? It may be a little challenging to find what the blessing is, but I'll guarantee you, if you keep looking for it, you're going to find it. You'll absolutely find it. So you got to look for the blessings, find the good, and then move on. The next question is from Anonymous. Ooh, it's a big one here. All right, let's go. I have a situation that is not favorable to my business. I need help. I have a retail business, which I really enjoy so much. I'm doing it, and I know deep in my heart, this is the one that I want to do for the rest of my life. But now my sales went down and I feel so stressed due to I can't even buy more inventory to serve my customers. There's a lot of demand, but I can't cater them to my customers. I believe that if there's a demand, there's a supply, but it is like it's not showing, and it's showing it's not enough. The result is creating more debt. The biggest problem now, I can't even pay my rent. My husband says we need to sell the business, but I have many reasons to keep it. If I can manifest a buyer, I would like to manifest a free money or investor instead. I am having trouble with this because my mind is so stressed and the emotions of fear is eating me. I tried doing gratitude, but I'm so distracted, trying to focus all the time. Is there anything I can do? Thank you so much. Okay, great question. We're going to finish with this question, by the way. So no more questions today. We're at 12:29. We'll be back next week and ready to take more questions. Number one, you're in your own way, right? Like as I'm reading this, there's nothing outside of you that causes you to feel anything. Let me repeat that. There is nothing outside of you that causes you to feel anything. You're choosing to feel this. I understand why you're feeling it. It's definitely justifiable why you're feeling it, but please understand you're in control of how you feel. There's also a solution. There is absolutely a solution. You don't know what it is right now. I don't know what it is right now, but here's what you do. You answer this question. What would I love? Now, it sounds to me that you'd love to keep your business. All right, so that's part of the answer. But what would you love really? Like, what would you really love? You'd love your business to be thriving. You would love to see there's another way. There was a store not too far from here, a retail store, that when COVID hit and they shut down all non-essential, businesses, which included stores and that weren't groceries and weren't selling essentials like a drugstore or whatever. And I mean, they just had to shut down their door, like nail salons as an example. Well, those people still had to pay the rent of their nail salon, but they didn't have any clients coming in the door. And I remember asking the people at the nail salon where I go, like, did your landlord give you a break? It's like, no, and so they're still paying out this money with no revenue coming in. Now they managed to get through it. But I had said to the lady that owned the nail salon, I said, there's always ways of earning money. There's another way of earning money. Like the way the rich get rich is from something called MSIs, which stands for multiple sources of income. So you could do a couple of things. You could find a way, and I don't know what your retail business is, but is there a way you could take it online? Might be a way. Is there a way that you could get an investor that gets involved? Now, I suspect an investor might not be attracted to this if it's not something that's already showing a profit. So it may involve you earning money from another source until the retail business gets back and starts to grow again and bring back the revenues. But there's always a way to earn money. But in order for you to be open to the way to earn money, you've got to be thinking from and feeling as if you're already earning it. So what you want to do is, when I say to you, what would you love? Well, obviously keeping your business is part of it. And you'd also love to be earning. And then you get clear on what that is. And you can literally pick a number out of the air. I mean, it comes down to what would you love? This is where goals begin. Now, you won't know how. And you don't have to know how. That's the greatest lesson I've learned in the 43 years that I've been studying personal development. You do not have to know how you're going to accomplish your goal, but you absolutely must feel as if the goal is done. You got to get in harmony with that outcome. Now, this is going to take conscious control. And in your case, you're going to need to be stronger than what you're being right now, meaning recognize that you are going to control your emotions. So I have two suggestions for that. These are two tools that can help you with that. One is the moment you're aware of a negative thought, which involves fear, which involves something that causes you or you're feeling anxious as a result. Remember, nothing causes you to feel anything. You choose to feel it. But the moment you feel a feeling of desperation, fear, uncertainty, anything like that, which is not going to serve you, you want to switch out of that immediately. Immediately, you want to switch out of that. Now, there's many different techniques for switching out of that. One of them is to say your goal statement. Oh, I'm so happy and grateful that now that I'm easily earning blah, blah, blah. Like you say your goal statement, but you don't just say it. You say it like you mean it. You say it with all your heart. You say it with conviction. All right, that's a switching technique. Another switching technique is the moment you find yourself feeling all consumed in fear or all consumed in desperation, you just say, what would I love? Well, I'd love for this scenario to be like this. All right, what does that feel like? So what you're doing is you're asking yourself questions. You're leading yourself to a place in your mind that feels better. All right, that's a switching technique. You've moved from negative to positive. And you know what? You can do it like that. You can do it like that. I remember one time I was upset about something, and Bob Proctor called me at that exact moment. And he said, "What are you doing?" And I was upset about this thing. And he said, I was laying down at the time. He said, get up right now. And he says, I want you to write this down. And he gave me some affirmation to say, and snapped me right out of what I was feeling. And what did it do? It changed what I was looking at. It changed my focus, right? Got me away from staring at what I don't want and moving over to a place of calm, relaxation. So you want to follow those techniques. Now, the second thing I want to suggest is that write out, do this in two ways. One, write out what the goals are that you have for yourself, and then write out a detailed description of you living that life right now, not in the future. It's not I will have or I'm going to, it's I'm doing it now, right? I'm so happy and grateful now that. And you describe it, you describe your life as if you've already accomplished those goals, and you fully embrace the emotions of having those goals in your life now. This is essential. All right. So you write that out in detailed description, and then you record it, and you can record it like on the phone. There's this thing called voice loop. You can record it right on your phone. It's an app. It's a free app. I record mine on QuickTime Player, which comes with my MacBook. All right. So record it. But the most important part in this is you listen to it multiple times every day. So what that ultimately does, for the anonymous question here, what that automatically does is it's taking these new ideas, the ideas that are only in harmony with what you really desire, and through repetition and hearing it over and over again, you'll start to believe it, because you've heard that expression before. If you hear something enough times, you start to believe it, even if it's a lie. And so what you want to do is you want to hear this and impress it. You're really impressing it into your consciousness, into your subconscious mind, where it's accepted as the truth. All right. What a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. This is really the idea behind it. Your subconscious mind is infinitely more powerful than your conscious mind. See, your conscious mind has the ability to accept or reject ideas. Even as I'm speaking today, even as I'm giving guidance, you accept or reject the idea. I hope you're accepting the ideas. But your belief systems are really housed in your subconscious mind. You've got to override them, because they're determining and dictating everything about you, from everything that you're doing, from your habitual way of being, from your habitual thoughts, to the words that you're speaking. So in order to change your results, you got to change what's going on inside of you. That's where the change occurs first, long before you'll ever see the results. All right. So do that. And also, anonymous attendee, make sure you come to Make Your Dreams Come True event that we're doing February 1, February 2 as well, because you're definitely getting a lot of value out of that. I love that you asked the question. When people ask questions, it's obviously from a place of hunger, right? They're looking for a solution. They're looking for an answer. The solution's there. The solution there for any issue, what some people call problem, I like to call opportunity or challenge. The solution is there for any issue whatsoever. And you can absolutely create anything that you want in your life. There's so much power wrapped up in you. You've got so much ability, and we only tap into such a tiny percentage of what that power is. And I want to encourage all of you to really follow through with what I'm suggesting, because that's where the magic occurs. All right. Okay, we're going to call it a wrap for today. I really appreciate you guys. Love serving you. I see you succeeding in every way that you desire, and we'll be back with you again next week. All right, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Roddy. I really appreciate you too. And we'll see you guys again real soon. Bye-bye for now.